Hey guys and gals, you gotta be gender specific. That's what we're going for here. Trying to just kidding. We're working on a 2007 GMC pickup. It's a 2500 HD. It's the Duramax, and we're going to be doing the seal on the output shaft of the transfer case. I have Spanky explain how that process goes. What should we do first?
Well, we want to make sure we have our tools together first.
All right.
We'll turn around like this. So we've got an 18mm ratcheting wrench on the refill, the fill plug. So we're ready to refill it, and then we've got down on the other end an 11mm wrench ready to take off the driveline. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the driveline off, pull the slip yoke out, and pop this out. But while we also have this out, we're going to check. There's a lot of liquid in here, a lot of juicy stuff, and so we're going to check the...
Are you telling me there might be a crack in the slip yoke?
Maybe.
So, how do you address that?
Check it. I don't know.
We're just going to pretend that it's leaking anyway. We're just going to say there's a lot of fluid in here and it's more than what would just drip on it. So we're going to clean that really well with brake cleaner and then just seal it with Permatex Right stuff just to be on the safe side, at the same time that we're replacing this output shaft seal on the transfer case. So we also have a drain pan underneath of it because when we pull the slip yoke we know it's going to spill a little bit. And the reason why we're going to top it off is if it's lost this much fluid, as you can see we've got some kind of a sealing mosaic going on here, done in not fresco but transmission fluid. Looks like Dexmark. Lovely. Do a little finger touching thing across the sky. No. So we're gonna, first thing she said we're gonna do is we're gonna pull that slip yoke, and in order to do that we're gonna pull the bolts back there. We'll show you what that looks like. We like to use a ratcheting box wrench on these, and the reason why is there's not a lot of access. You can see the barrel of the shaft here, it blocks access from using anything big like an air ratchet or a butterfly gun. So just do this, just spin them out. Usually you can crack them free, pull them out by hand. What I like to do is I like to take the strap, that's what you call this, there's straps and caps and all kinds of stuff. If it's just made out of plate or sheet metal like that, it's just called a strap. You just set those aside. Oftentimes it's a good idea to make a mark on the drive line and on the yoke, because oftentimes they'll be balanced, so that you want to put them together that way. You can mark the front of it pretty much just however. You can use a paint pen if you like to, or as Spanky's doing here, you just take a screwdriver and make a little V mark, and that way you know that you got the right side. Oh, come on, how are you going to find that?
Can't really see it.
Make a good one. Think an angry thought, it may help.
What's that?
There you go, perfect. So once you have the U-joint straps out of there, you take a pry bar and get it in between. You can see that there's a little, you can see the end of the pinion basically inside of there, where the nut is, and you just put the pry bar between the U-joint, the center part of it, la cruceta, and the end of the pinion, and just give it a little pry. You pry it one way, pry it the other way, and you'll find that one cap will give up and pop out, and then the other cap will. The caps I'm referring to are the caps at the end of the U-joint that you see here by that little score mark. Make sure to get your hand underneath of the yeah, like that, and that way when it pops free, or an elbow, forearm, something, when it pops free you'll be able to catch it. It scared you, huh? Good thing you were ready. Yeah, you might require dental work if you don't have something ready to catch it. Good job. So now that the back end's free, you can go ahead and pull it out. And we've got a drain pan just waiting underneath of there. It'll usually spill a couple cups of fluid is all. This one didn't really spill much at all. It's probably pretty low on fluid from all the leaking. And you just take that and lay that aside, and then we'll work on getting that seal out. So we compare the two seals and just see if they look about the same. They look about like twins to me. So you can see it goes in this way, and in order to get it out you've got this metal backing to it that just isn't going to go anywhere. And you see the lip with the little notches on it? I'll hold it with the light behind it. Those notches you can see are here, so you can either take a screwdriver or a pry bar and pry it out that way and just tap it out, or you can use a seal puller like Spanky's got there and just kind of get in from the side.
Right here.
If you hook in through here, and you don't want to score the inside of it, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll get rid of the boot. I'll just tear it to pieces. They're not real strong, they're happy to just submit. So you pull that out and get it out of the way, and then that gives you access to the actual part that does the seal. You just come into the side of it the way that Spanky's doing and just kind of push it in and pull back, and one good yank, like full body jerk, and it's out of there. So way to go.
All right.
Win. Alright, as you can see on the dust boot of this seal, it's got a little hole. This doesn't seal for the fluid, that's the job of this guy. You can see that it's lubed up from the factory all the way around. This seal's from the dealership. So take it and you put it in a little bit far on one side but not maxed out, and then take a dead blow hammer, rubber hammer, just something that's not going to chew the snot out of it. And you just want to get a good even start. If you can get a good even start, then the rest of it will go real well. So what I do is I'll take a pry bar or take something with a flat edge and kind of hit it in that way. You can see a bunch of dents on the surface here where I've done this in the past. This puller's starting to get a little bit experienced. I wish it knew how to just kind of do it like riding a horse. That's a fun thing about going on a long horseback ride, is you can get close to the house and they'll just kind of go to autopilot and you can close your eyes if you want, and they'll just wind up getting you home. Seal puller, why can't you be a horse? I'm having a hard time with this today, obviously, but you get the idea. Don't feel bad if you're struggling with it. They're not super easy, but they're certainly doable. So I felt it just kind of give in. I'm feeling here, feeling there, feeling everywhere. Feelings, nothing more than feelings. This isn't working. This sucks. Sometimes things go really well and you can do it in one take, and other times, this is the second take, by the way. Just hit it all the way around. Alright, so I'm going to reintroduce pry bar. If the seal lips are even down here, then the seal will be even, and that will cause it to be perpendicular to the drive axle or drive shaft, propeller shaft, and it'll seal a lot better. Anyway, there's my mind struggle getting that seal in, but once you're in, you're good. The other thing you really got to watch out for, aside from making sure the hole's at the bottom and that it's on nice and even, is you have to watch your shaft that goes in there. See if there's any burrs. See if maybe they hit something happened to where it kicked out to the side. Check your play on the end of the shaft here. See if it's got a bad bearing, because if you have a bad bearing in this tail cone and you put a new seal in, it's not going to help if it's wobbling all over. So be mindful of that. Other thing, like we said, is we're going to seal up the yoke. We'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we've got the post-lunch Fat and Happies. So if I get all monotone, you'll know why. Next, we take steel wool and clean the shaft. This just gets any corrosion or burrs. You can see what's happened here and here. This all used to be pretty uniform once upon a time. So I'll just take that and just make sure that there's nothing there. If I feel a catch or whatever, then we'll address that as needed. But where the seal's going to be riding is going to be riding around there. This will help it last longer. Be sure to wipe it after the steel wool so you don't get any steel wool nonsense going on. As we said before, there's a lot of wetness inside of here on this plate. See, it's all slimy, so we're going to clean that with brake cleaner and then just take a little Permatex Right stuff on the pinky finger and then just seal around there just to be safe. Because this end's all full of fluid, and if there's a little crack or the weld's not just perfect or something on the yoke, you know, over time it can stress or maybe crack around this outside edge just a teeny bit and you get a leak. So we're just going to pretend like it's leaking and address that at the same time, whether it is or not. So you can see I've cleaned up all the way around there really thoroughly, paying pension special podiatrist and other P words attention to the little crack all the way around that cap. So I take a little of this on my finger and just kind of press it, just kind of smear a little bit of a seal all the way inside that crack. I'm not putting a lot of it on. I'm not anticipating it to lose a lot of fluid. It's not like it's going to drain the transfer case, but that little seepage can cause all kinds of wetness that you saw there. So I'm just going to go around, just put a little Permatex Right stuff all the way around it, like thus. Who knew that pinkies could be so helpful? Penicillin, that was the other word I was trying to think of. I don't know why. It just seemed like a fun word to say at the time. If you do it thin, it dries pretty fast too. See how there's a little gap in the crack there? Missed the spot. Au contraire, mon frère. Got it. So we're sealed all the way around. Don't gotta worry about that no more. Alright, well it's time to put the driveline slip yoke, try not to say anything bad here, get back into the new seal. Haha. So you just got to get that so that it's straight in. Let's wiggle it back and forth a little bit. Wiggle it just a little bit. Come on, go. You want to go in gently and really straight so that you don't tear up the new seal. It is greased up a little bit, but damage can happen. So we come back here and make sure that we have the same marks for balance. That one there and this one up here on the yoke. And do it to it. We're going to have to put it in neutral. Looks like somebody's kind of new around here. They got the wrong angle. So just put it in neutral. Make sure you chalk your tires or put your e-brake on, whatever, so that it doesn't move. Other thing you can do is just get the back end off the ground. And if you do that, then you can just turn it easily. That's probably what we'll do. We chose neutral. Get her done. So you take the straps, which are conveniently located by the jack stand. Just put those back in, and we'll show you the fill process here in just a minute. You're gonna love it. It's amazing. So we're taking out the drain plug, or fill plug, and we're gonna top off the transfer case for good measure to make sure that we're not low on fluid. So that's the problem with having a leak. I'm telling you, the fluid gets low. And then things get hot. So we've got that out. I have no idea how I'm going to keep the light on this. So I'm going to pass the camera to Spanky. There you go. So I've configured a little jug with a hole in the cap. And I just have a hose running to the bottom of it. And then I have a little spigot on the back side. All you need is light it up. So I have a little hole drilled in that. This is excessive. All you got to do is just do a hole on the center line of the casting of the bottle and you'll be in great shape. So I run it up over the cross member through the woods to grandmother's house. I was going to say hole, but that just does not sound right. You can see I've got to step down so that it'll be a small enough outer diameter to fit the inner diameter of the fill hole. How's that gotta fill? Pretty good. So then I take my compressed air, stick it to the bottle at the back side. What that does is all of this air cavity in the top will become high pressure and it'll push the fluid down. Fluid won't have anywhere to go in the down direction other than up the hose. Don't believe me? Watch this. Ain't that just fun? So you just fill her up until it's full and it'll backflow the hose, but also go into the drain pan. If your transfer case has any kind of fluid disease, it's going to backflow into your thing, so only fill about as much as you think you're going to need if you're real picky about that sort of thing. And if your bottle blows up, you better have some kitty litter handy, because that's messy. So I'm going to stop, see if it backflows. Looks like it's starting to a little bit. Now my hose barely fit into there, so I'll pull it out and see if I get any pouring. It looks like I may need some more fluid. This thing is really empty. I'm also not 100% convinced that it was transmission fluid to begin with. That's an interesting thought to ponder. That's freaking me out now. We're gonna check into it a little. Look like transmission fluid, but I want to be positive. I was bad. I put the wrong stuff in. I was so excited to show you the vacuum bottle and so many transfer cases use just transmission fluid, but that ain't that red. That mosaic, that non-fresco mosaic that's been painted on the underbelly of this critter. So we'll shine on the drain plug right here, and I'll show you as I go to drain this out. You can see the, yeah, get some light on that. You can see that it's just kind of homogenized. Got most, apparently the red stuff is heavier and comes out first. It's kind of coming out together, so we're basically just going to do a fluid flush on this anyway. The fluid that was in it was kind of yucky and not very full. Looks pretty when you mix a little transmission fluid in with it. It looks like the weight of them is pretty even. Oh, fun. Sorry, I put the wrong fluid in. So we got to use that $8 a bottle GLS, or Gear Lubricant Special. You see you got a little magnet on the plug, so I'm going to clean that off and just do a good turn daily. Just turn your rag on it. See what color this is? That's the color that it needs to be. Lovely. Look at this fantastic contraption I contrived. So I can't push it because I don't have a lot of volume of this. I have just a couple little bottles because it just comes by the quart, not the gallon. Want to see what color it looks like? This is what it looks like when it's clean. You'll have to shine some light through that. There you go. Woo, it's like water kind of. So let's go ahead and pour that in the funnel. Watch it go down the tube. I guess you could have seen the color there too, huh? Aha! I just spilled everywhere. Stay dirty. I don't want to. I like it clean. That's my problem. Why did I choose to be a mechanic if I like things so clean and orderly? I don't know what I was thinking. There's a lot of cleanliness and order that goes into fixing cars. I'm sure of it. Okay, so that's all good. There's a bunch of different brands that are the same GLS fluid. Some of you guys are like, why are you putting Honda stuff in a Chevy? That's just wrong. Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that's in the transmissions and the manual of a Duramax, or not a Duramax, a Cummins on a Dodge. It's that super runny stuff. It's funny because they're using that in place of, gear oil sometimes. I don't understand how that's going to hold up because it just doesn't have the same shock absorbing quality, but that's what they say to use. That's what we do. By the book. So just fill this up until it starts to pour back out. With a clear hose, I can kind of see if it's going to overflow. As long as I'm paying attention, we'll be in good shape. So beautiful and clear. And at least it doesn't stink like gear oil. Gear oil is not one of my favorite smells. A little, how in the world did I do that? Is that really that full, or is it just going through it slow?
Well, you're just tilting it.
Yeah, I know. It's a good thing there's a woman here to tell me I'm messing up what I know. Thank you, Spanky.
Yep. Hey, you're trying to give me a shower. I don't need one that bad.
Oh, you're claiming self-preservation now. All right. Well, it just doesn't want to go in. Maybe we're done. I think it's kinking on that good old cross member over there. Kinky little cross member. Stop it. Kind of going down, kind of not.
There it is.
There we go. And this transfer case, this particular one only holds 2 quarts. It doesn't hold very much. Some of them hold even less than that. At least according to our specs that we looked up. Can't believe I put transmission fluid in it. I mean, this is technically manual transmission fluid, but you know, the good old Dexmer KTF stuff. What kind of old school hayseed technician does that? Me. That's alright, I caught it. What would you have done, Spanky, if I hadn't caught that mistake? Would you have been like, hey, wait a minute?
Well, because I'm new at it, I like to look up specs beforehand.
See, that's why we keep you around. Keeps me honest, keeps me careful. How do I feel about double checking things?
And it's one of your favorite things ever.
Yeah, I'm kind of OCD. Helps keep you from having comebacks, callbacks, whatever. I'm not a real big fan of those. Well, it's about like watching paint dry, isn't it? You're welcome. There we go. So,
See, it just got exciting.
Action adventure. Fluids flying everywhere. You could ask Ring, it's like a water park. Well, as in Timmy fell down let's see how far we have to go. You can take an Allen wrench or a zip tie or something and dip it in and see how far you have to go. We're a little bit tipped up. We raised just this side of the vehicle, so it's tipped, so we're going to be a little overfilled if we wait for it to overflow. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below, and click like if you like it. Whoosh.